Check this out. This is one of the most powerful, rare, and legendary supercars ever made. And it's not forgiving, even for the most skilled drivers. Today we're diving into everything that makes this car so special. If we haven't met yet, my name is Troy, and this is Torque Junkies, where we share stories and fun facts about all kinds of cool cars and motorized vehicles. We're not just interested in cars around here, but anything with a motor, whether it's a plane, train, boat, motorcycle, snowmobile, it doesn't matter. For us, it's all about making memories and connecting around our shared passion for motorized vehicles. We'd love to hear your stories too. If you have any stories you'd like to share, leave it in the comments below, or even reach out to me to DM me, and I'd love to share your story on here. Today, it's all about the Hot Wheels Porsche Carrera GT, and we're gonna explore the history, the specs, and what it's worth today. I've done a little digging on the Carrera GT, and here's what I've come up with. The Carrera GT actually started in the late 1990s as a Le Mans prototype project. It was built to push the limits of racing tech before Porsche even thought about putting it on the road. It wasn't just a supercar, it was a race car in disguise. Production eventually kicked off in 2004, running until 2007, with only 1,270 units built worldwide. That makes it pretty rare right out of the gate. Porsche used extensive high-speed testing on tracks and public roads to fine-tune everything from the carbon fiber chassis to the suspension and that incredible V10 engine. It wasn't just any test. The goal was to make sure this raw power could actually be handled, but only if you knew what you were doing. If you were a test driver for this car, this powerful, would you feel safe behind the wheel? Or would you be terrified? Here's something that makes the Carrera GT really special. It's a mid-engine car that means that the engine sits behind the driver, but in front of the rear axle. That layout gives perfect weight distribution and a low center of gravity, so it corners like a dream if you can handle it. The flip side, oversteer comes quick if you're not careful. One wrong move and this car will let you know. This is what makes it so alive on the road and so unforgiving if you make a mistake. I remember several years ago, I watched a video, I'm almost positive it was Jay Leno, and he was behind the wheel of one of these cars on a track somewhere, and he was going around a corner, if I remember right, and he lost control of the car, and it started spinning, and he didn't hit anything, I don't believe, but he came really close to hitting something, and I think it really freaked him out, because this car is just so unforgiving. All right, let's talk the numbers. The Carrera GT has a 5.7 liter naturally aspirated V10 pumping out 605 horsepower and 435 pound-feet of torque. It comes with a 6-speed manual gated transmission, which Porsche intentionally avoided paddle shifters with this vehicle. They wanted it to be raw, old school, and supercar driving. 0 to 60 around 3.5 seconds with a top speed of 205 miles per hour. And that's without all the electronic driving aids you might expect today. No traction control, no stability control, nothing. Just the car, the engine, and the driver. The carbon fiber monocoque makes it lightweight yet incredibly stiff. And the brakes, ceramic composite. Porsche's own system, are insane at slowing it down. I know Doug DeMuro has one of these cars now. It was always his dream car, and I think he commented on how much the brakes cost. I can't remember, but it was like in the tens of thousands of dollars, I believe, to replace the brakes. Although they do last forever, so if you don't put too many miles on the car, you may never have to replace them. Design-wise, it's classic Porsche. Long nose, wide rear, swooping curves. Even this little Hot Wheels shows it off perfectly. Inside, it's minimalistic. No flashy screens, no fancy luxury gadgets. Everything is driver focused. It's about control, precision, and honestly, survival. If you're pushing it hard. Some owners describe it as both exhilarating and terrifying, and I totally get that. Remember, only 1,270 cars were made. Most of those were left-hand drive, with just a few being made in right-hand drive. It came in Carrera White, Guards Red, GT Silver, plus a few prototypes and special editions. If you could pick a color, what color would you pick? I know they did make at least one in the yellow because I've seen pictures of it, and I believe maybe it was a prototype, but I'm not sure. The original MSRP was about $440,000. Unfortunately, one of the things that a lot of people think of when they see or talk about these cars is Paul Walker, and how in 2013 he was killed in one of these vehicles that he had, him and another guy. And I don't know exactly what happened. I can't remember the details, but they lost control, and I believe they hit a tree and it burst into flames. Very tragic story. He was a great guy and a great father, and now this car, unfortunately, carries that memory. A lot of people, when they see one, that's what they think of. So I've got some pictures here. This is a Carrera GT that I saw in Redmond, Washington at the Exotics at Redmond Town Center, a car gathering they do every summer, all summer long. And this is a picture of my son and his cousin, my son Stetson and his cousin Mickey. I believe this was on Porsche Day, and there just happened to be two Carrera GTs there. This silver one is not the same one, though, that was just in that last picture, I don't believe. They had two different plates on them. I believe they're two different vehicles. Here's a couple other pictures of those particular cars. My son Stetson there. There's the back view of these vehicles. They are just amazing cars, beautiful vehicles. And then here's one that sold on Bring a Trailer, a 1,800 mile 2005. This one sold for $1.9 million just this past September. Here's that same car. It was in North Carolina. Beautiful car. There's the side profile, little interior shot of it. And then there's a black one that sold. That one sold for $1.8 million. That had 6,000 miles. That one sold also, looks like it sold back in May. 6,000 miles from Newport Beach, California. Great view there with the spoiler up. Interior shot. And there's the engine. Beautiful cars. From a race project to a collectible supercar, the Carrera GT is a true icon. And cars like this are meant to be seen.